the lost episode of The Amazing World of Gumball that never aired. It was a Tuesday morning at Elmore Junior High, but something felt fundamentally wrong from the moment Gumball and Darwin stepped through the school doors. The hallways were filled with students, yet an eerie silence hung in the air. Every student they passed wore the exact same smile, a wide, unnatural grin that stretched too far across their faces. Gumball nudged Darwin nervously as they walked toward their lockers. Their classmates moved in perfect synchronization, turning their heads in unison to watch the two brothers pass by. Penny stood by her locker, but when she turned to greet Gumball, her shell had developed strange cracks that pulsed with otherworldly light. Miss Simeon's classroom was no better. The teacher stood at the blackboard, writing the same equation over and over. Tobias sat in his usual seat, but his rainbow colors had faded to sickly gray, and his eyes had become hollow black voids. Banana Joe sat perfectly still, his yellow skin slowly browning. During lunch, the cafeteria served the same meal to every student, a gray, shapeless substance that moved on their trays. Everyone ate in perfect silence, their synchronized chewing creating a disturbing rhythm. Gumball and Darwin tried to escape to the library, but found that every book contained the same story. Their story, but with differences that grew more disturbing with each page. In these versions, their family members had different faces, and adventures always ended with everyone disappearing. The school's PA system crackled to life, but instead of Principal Brown's voice, they heard their mother Nicole speaking in a monotone voice, announcing that all students must report to the gymnasium. As they walked through the corridors, Gumball noticed that their reflections showed them walking in the opposite direction. In the gymnasium, every student and teacher stood in perfect rows, facing a large mirror placed in the center. The mirror didn't reflect the gymnasium. Instead, it showed their house, but everything was wrong. The furniture was arranged differently. Family photos showed strangers' faces. Gumball reached out to touch Darwin's fin, but his brother felt cold and stiff, like he was becoming less real. When Darwin tried to speak, his voice came out distorted. The other students began to fade, becoming translucent, until only their smiles remained visible, floating in the air. The mirror began to pull them in, and Gumball realized that everyone who had disappeared hadn't left the school. They had been absorbed into this alternate reality where everything looked familiar but felt completely wrong. As they were drawn toward the glass surface, Gumball could see their real selves desperately trying to break through. The last thing Gumball heard was his own laughter, but it wasn't coming from him. It was coming from his reflection, who was now free to take his place while he remained trapped.